right, Team TWC. It's your boy TWP Popcorn. Y'all already know what time it is. Let me make sure that's unplugged. For some reason, it's not showing the right thing on the screen. I didn't even notice that till later, so uh, that's the way it goes with Spider Pig, though. Need to reset it. It's reset now. Hopefully y'all doing good, smoking good. If not, hit your boy up. Y'all know to hit the buy me a coffee. Shout out to the buy me a coffee. We'll get you in there. There we go. Yeah, super focus. Super focus. That's a nice shot. Let me get in this live. Morning from Sue over at the Bud Files. How you doing? Hopefully you're having a good weekend. Ain't too cold around here. It's like 24 degrees, which is a warm up compared to what it's been.
Listen, it was great to see President Trump, inauguration yesterday and
What up, Seymour?
ultimately see him come back to office. Trump is about business. You hear him talk about tariffs. You hear him talk about, free trade. And if you come back and look at cannabis and the opportunities there to legalize that and the excise tax that can be brought into the U.S. coffers, I think he looks at it as a business. And I think, as I said before, I think medical cannabis in the U.S. legalizes, and that enacts a bank. Ultimately, from a decriminalization, and that takes the illicit market off the street. And I think absolutely Trump will absolutely look at that. And I think, he has already looked at that. When it came to the election in November, he was in favor of cannabis, legalizing from a recreational standpoint in Florida. It didn't pass because it's needed 60%. And I think it was around 53, 54%.
Why are you optimistic that he'll do this stuff during this term when during his first term there was a lot of optimism and a lot of hope from folks in the cannabis industry? I know you weren't at Tilray at that time, but there was a lot of optimism coming from the industry, and that ultimately did not come to pass.
So, listen, again, I think from a business standpoint, and he looks at it from two things. He looks at it from the tax dollars and the excise tax that come into place, and he looks at an illicit market that he takes off the street, and he gets real regulation in here, and he ultimately brings safe banking in here, which allows money that's going through the banks from a regulatory standpoint. Listen, you come back and look at Canada today, and Canada's a tenth of the size of the U.S., and there's over $1.5 billion in excise tax that comes into Canada each year. If you multiply that by 10, you look at the $15 billion opportunity here in the U.S. So I come back and absolutely, if you look at Europe today, there's 20 different countries that allow medical cannabis in Europe today. And come back and look at recreational cannabis. Recreational cannabis today is legal in 27 states in the U.S., and medical cannabis is in 35 states. So a big part of the U.S. population wants cannabis legalized. But I'll tell you this here, Tilray is in a good spot. We can't sell cannabis in the U.S. because we're a NASDAQ-listed company. We're the largest cannabis company in Canada today. We have a good-sized beverage business in the U.S. today with our our craft beers, our spirits with Breckenridge, and our hemp business with Manitoba Harvest. We also have a good-sized business in Europe today with our medical cannabis business, where there we only can sell cannabis through prescriptions from doctors. So we're a well-diversified company. And I got to tell you, it would be very helpful to Tilray if cannabis did legalize in the U.S. from a medical standpoint. And I think, hey, it's a $200-300 million business for us right away at a 3% size of the market. As you just said, it's a $10 billion market here in the U.S. from a medical standpoint.
What about tariffs and the comments that the president has made about Canada? The possibility that there could be 25% on 25% tariffs on goods coming from Canada by February 1st, and also the jokes that he made over the last month about essentially Canada becoming the 51st state. How do you look at all that?
Well, I don't think that's going to happen, number one. But number two, I think you got Canada's attention. The good news is, the only thing we bring in from Canada today is we bring some hemp in for our hemp business. None of our beer, or of course, none of our cannabis does sell within, the U.S. None of the cannabis we make today or grow in Canada is sold in the U.S. Listen, the Canadian dollar, has quite a bit of value. So if there was a tariff, I think ultimately it gets passed on to the consumer. I don't think it's going to be 25%. I think there could be tariffs, but we have 5 million square feet of grow in Canada today. And if we could produce there, which would be about 60 metric tons, and be able to sell it in the U.S., it would be very, very beneficial to Tilray.
Morning, Kelly. Nice to see you. How you doing? Hopefully you're having a good day. Yeah, I know she had a crochet party on her chat last night, so y'all know go check her out. While we over here loading.
Tending the garden can be quite relaxing.
Everybody run for your life! The Grim Reaper is tending the garden again! Grim, you're...
Yeah, they're good and bad. I mean, with the government going back to being how it's supposed to be, it's actually better, but it's bad for a transitional period. But then once the system's back fixed, because you got to fix the matrix sometimes. Yeah, we got to repair the system. The government's charging the people instead of working for the people. We got to go back to working for the people, which means we ain't taxing them because we're taxing other governments. Hell, we're not doing y'all favors out here. It's a cold world. Either y'all taking care of yourself or you're not. Become part of us if you're not, because that's the only way you're going to get some help from us. Shout out to PMC TV.
Oh, thank goodness it
Pro
is
Cannabis
Friday
Media.
afternoon. That means another really live edition of Green Rush, the business of cannabis talk show that Pro Cannabis Media produces every Friday afternoon from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. That would be your Eastern time. I'm Jimmy Young, the founder of Pro Cannabis Media, and I tell you what, this one is really live. Last week we had a little few technical difficulties because I forgot my computer before I drove down to New York, so it's my fault. But we ran a rerun, and everybody seemed to be happy. And we had some good stuff in the chat room, and but this is definitely really live. Joining me this Friday afternoon, and someone who's becoming more and more regular as a guest host, is Josh Kincaid from the Talking Hedge in Washington State. Hello, Josh.
Hey, Jimmy, I'm getting attacked by my cat live right now.
Hey, there you go. What's the name of your cat, Josh?
Panucci. It's French for fudge. Yeah.
All right, and joining us from the nation's capital on this Friday afternoon is our dear friend from Normal. His name is Morgan Fox. Hello, Morgan.
Hey, Jimmy. Hey, Josh.
So, here we are. You're in Washington, D.C. I'm in the Boston area, now in Clinton, Massachusetts. Check that one out on your map. And Josh is out in Washington State. So we've got the nation covered here. And I keep hearing these inklings, these rumors, these notes from different people that the lame duck Congress has a shot to reform cannabis laws. How accurate are those reports, Morgan?
Very accurate, although the exact nature of what that reform will look like is really difficult to tell at this point. The negotiations that have been going on between Senate leadership and Senate Republicans about exactly how far they're willing to go and what that balancing point is going to be between what Democrats are willing to support and what Republicans are willing to tolerate, basically, has been kept very close to the vest. I mean, I'll tell you, I was talking with a very prominent senator's staff just the other day, and they said that even they, after multiple requests, hadn't gotten the details about exactly where things stand yet. And I know that many of my advocate colleagues are feeling some similar frustration that we don't exactly know where things are right now. But I think a lot of it also depends on the outcome of the midterms, both in terms of what the makeup of the next House and Senate are going to be, but also how the 5 state legalization ballot initiatives are going to turn out, which I mean I think could have a real big impact.
Absolutely. You were talking about Missouri, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Maryland, and Arkansas, the 5. Of those 5, which one do you think is the one that is 50-50, may not pass?
Well, so Oklahoma actually isn't happening until March of next year. Okay. So yeah, we're looking at Arkansas, Maryland, Missouri, North Dakota, and South Dakota. Arkansas is 50-50 right now. I am cautiously optimistic that it will pass. You know, we've got about 11 days until the election, and I think that now that the opposition forces have pretty much done everything that they can do, including lying about what the initiative does, pitting supporters against each other, et cetera, that the campaign in favor is really hitting its stride right now and is going to make a big impact on voters as we go forward. Plus, there's a lot of undecided voters there. So I'm cautiously optimistic on that one. Maryland is looking like a slam dunk. Washington Post reported 73% support just a little bit ago, and interestingly enough, from a policy and election wonk like myself, I thought that poll was super interesting because we've always wondered about exactly what effect having cannabis policy reform and legalization measures on the ballot does for the rest of the ballot, whether it's down ticket items, overall voter turnout, etc. And really, I think that this might have been the first poll that really showed what impact legalization measures could have on turnout, particularly during a midterm election that typically sees a lot less turnout. And the turnout that it does see always tends to be older and more conservative. But that same poll showed that a majority of the people that were not intending to vote, they expressed that they didn't plan to vote, when reminded that marijuana was on the ballot, completely flipped their decision and said that they absolutely were going to vote. So I think it's great to finally start seeing data like that, and I hope that we can get a lot more exit polling and more in-depth research on this concept going forward so that we can determine exactly how these things affect broader elections and help us fine-tune strategy going forward. Looking at Missouri, the polling is really all over the place. I mean, last month, 2 polls came out, one of them showing 62% and one of them showing 48% support. Big undecided margins on both. So I think that it's anybody's guess. I should note that Arkansas and Missouri seem to be the states where there is the most organized opposition as well as the most establishment opposition. But in general, I think that these things both stand a chance of really doing well in the elections coming up. The Dakotas are an interesting situation. For North Dakota, we don't really have any recent polling to look at.
Is there enough people in North Dakota actually to conduct a poll?
Well, it'll take you 10 years to get around to everybody. But that's one of the problems with even getting things on the ballot in states like that. because it just costs so much more money to be actually able to reach potential voters and get those signatures. And then when you're talking about outreach, yeah, the media markets are small and relatively inexpensive to start to inundate, but actually getting across to people and doing real grassroots organizing is a lot more difficult when you're in places with lower population density. But we saw it in 2020. Voters narrowly rejected a legalization measure in North Dakota. But then the following year, the state House of Reps approved a legalization bill that was then stalled by the Senate. The initiative this year is very much modeled on the version that the House passed in order to kind of grease the wheels a little bit and make sure that it wasn't going to be challenged via lawsuit over its constitutionality should it pass, or even before it gets on the ballot. We're pretty confident that that one is going to pass, possibly by a narrow margin, but it's impossible to tell at this point. South Dakota is the one that's really kind of a surprise. I mean, as you know, in 2020, South Dakota voters approved medical cannabis by a wide margin and adult use by a pretty decent majority. I think it was above 55%. First state ever, and a conservative state no less, to actually pass an adult use initiative without a pre-existing medical program in place. So, I mean, it was really a game changer. And then the governor decided to use taxpayer money to file a lawsuit to invalidate the measure. It went in front of a judge that she appointed, so of course the lawsuit was effective, and then the Supreme Court upheld the appeal. Interestingly enough, the most recent polling that we've seen shows that support for the measure is around just a little bit above 43%. Now, my colleagues on the ground there tell me that that polling is inaccurate. And I think that a lot of things can happen, between now and election day. I mean, generally, though, I think that seeing more than a 10% drop between people actually voting for something 2 years ago and then a very, very similar initiative coming up with, more than 10% less support, it seems a little questionable. So, I think we're going to have to wait and see on that. And admittedly, that most recent polling was from middle of summer. So I'm not sure how much we can trust it. We should take it with a grain of salt. Either way, my colleagues at MPP and a number of other coalition groups are working hard there, and I'm hopeful that the Dakotas will move as well. End of the day, though, we're looking at very, very, very likely at least one state being added after Election Day.
Right. Morgan, did you say that it was a ballot initiative or legislative initiative? It was, okay.
Yeah, and here's an interesting thing about South Dakota, and we all know that Kristi Noem is the governor there, and she's the one who just would not accept what the voters voted in, and she led the charge. But wouldn't you know it, back in August, which was only 3 months ago or 2 months ago, I've lost count at this point, she said she would pledge to implement cannabis legalization if voters approved the ballot initiative. And she said that in an event in August. Now, a lot of people think she's changed her tune because she's up for re-election. Is she up for re-election in 11 days?
Well, I mean, I think that even besides that, the amount of backlash that she got for overturning the will of the people and using taxpayer money to do so definitely hurt. This is actually something that has become somewhat more commonplace as prohibitionists have increasingly lost the hearts and minds of the American people. They know that they can't win on the merit of their arguments because there are none. So they have increasingly turned to either keeping initiatives off the ballot or challenging them after they've won. And this is just patently anti-democratic. But when you don't have winning arguments, you don't have any choice other than to strip away people's voting rights. And it's a lot easier for groups like this to be able to influence lawmakers, largely because they're able to more easily, it's a lot easier to trick a small group of people into believing your BS.
Well, you have a small group of people down there that you haven't been able to manage that well over the last dozen years or so, because there's only so many legislators down there, but they all seem to only be concerned about their own reelection. Josh, I know you've got a question or two. Go ahead.
I'm curious. You mentioned midterm, Morgan, and that how that may impact how things are moving forward. But I'm curious, does it actually matter? It seems bipartisan enough. Does it actually matter what happens in the midterms, or are we just on a train that's moving forward regardless?
Well, I mean, things are definitely progressing, and in one respect, I think that we're going to continue to see progress. I mean, we've got a ton of momentum. And also, it's becoming more and more obvious to lawmakers across the political spectrum that not only is this an issue that their constituents and their bases support, but also that it is not just a fringe issue. It's actually something that they are prioritizing to a much greater level than their elected officials. So as these realizations start to increasingly dawn on lawmakers, I think we're going to see continued movement in the right direction. There are just some intricacies and nuances that might slow things down or speed things up depending on what happens. And there's so many different variables at play here. But, I think that the outcome of the midterms in terms of who controls Congress or either chamber of Congress absolutely will have an impact on what is able to be accomplished in the lame duck. For instance, if Republicans win both chambers, then they have no real reason or political impetus other than the members that are active supporters of this issue to actually move something in the lame duck rather than waiting until the next session when they control things. The same logic goes for if Democrats retain control of both chambers. They no longer have that motivation to get something done under the wire, even though it would surely be very popular for their constituents, particularly in states that have already enacted modern, sensible cannabis policies. If the chambers remain split control, then I think we have a better environment in which to get things done in the lame duck, because it's anybody's guess what will be able to be accomplished in the upcoming session.
Speaking of, will he be able to delist anything? He mentioned that Biden mentioned that before. Was that just to create some hyperbole, or to create some buzz, or is he serious about that? He's actually has some action behind those words. And what's the most likely outcome you think? Is he going to follow like the liquor, and how that was kind of just left up to the states? Have you heard any updates on that?
All right, so the Biden announcement that called on relevant federal agencies to review the placement of cannabis as a Schedule I substance, it was definitely very useful, because I think it highlighted the fact that Schedule I is an entirely inappropriate placement for cannabis. And it brought a lot of attention to it. There are a lot of people talking about it now. We've heard from these federal agencies that, including the FDA, that this is now a high priority to pursue this review process. However, in order to actually get this review accomplished, is going to take a lot of work on the part of many different federal agencies. It's also going to require, if we want a positive outcome, heads of these federal agencies to basically backtrack and admit that they were wrong for decades. Very unlikely to happen. The process itself also takes years, even if it's being fast-tracked. Now, if we are looking at the history of the schedule review petitions, NORML has been filing these petitions since 1970, and every single time it has taken years to even get the petition accepted. It's taken more years to even get the petition or to get the review process done. And then, as in the case in 1988, when the DEA's own administrative law judge ruled that there was absolutely no reason for cannabis to be on Schedule I, and that in fact it was, quote, one of the safest therapeutic substances known to man, the DEA said, that's not binding, we're not going to follow that. And that has happened several times since then. So the idea that we can trust federal agencies to conduct this review process and arrive at the right answer that cannabis should be descheduled, because we all know that rescheduling would be an absolute disaster. It would not change the anything about the federal-state conflict. It wouldn't decriminalize cannabis in any way, shape, or form. It would cause total chaos in state programs. But we can't afford to wait for this drawn out bureaucratic process, the result of which we are completely unsure of. But the fact that Biden has called for this review is incredibly useful because it is adding motivation for Congress to step in and do it more effectively. Cannabis was placed in Schedule 1 by Congress, and I think that it will ultimately be removed from the schedule entirely because through Congress.
Hey, so I just got a, whatever this is, I guess it would be a news article. I never know if it's a newspaper article or newsletter or it's a distribution press release, but it's still saying that the DEA will have the final word about what happens with the cannabis scheduling. And it's weird because the FDA is the one that seems to be leading the charge to make changes, but both of these little organizations, the bureaucratic organizations in our country are all saying, well, we need to do more research. They can't do research because they've already screwed that up already. So where do you think this, if you were the president or you were the czar of the world, Morgan, and you could say this is either a drug or a plant, therefore under the DEA or the agricultural world, where would it be most effective?
I think that's a very interesting question. We know that the FDA is not going to be able to effectively regulate cannabis as a plant. They can probably effectively regulate cannabinoid-derived or cannabinoid-based drugs. But really, when it comes down to it, there are a bunch of different agencies that are in charge of this. The DEA pretty much has final say, and they have structural inertia working against this. So I think it's very, again, we're really going to have Congress step in and do this. And I'm hoping that the fact that Biden's announcement was met with overwhelming public approval across the political spectrum, with a few outliers like folks like Tom Cotton, will really help motivate Congress to address this issue and take it out of the DEA's hands, take it out of HHS's hands, and take it ultimately out of the FDA's hands, and then determine proper roles themselves for these federal agencies regarding cannabis and cannabinoid drugs and other substances going forward.
The FDA couldn't even come out with regulations for CBD after the Farm Bill passed. So I'm not real confident that they're going to do anything here other than to muck up the whole process. Josh, I'm sorry I cut you off.
No, it's all right. I was going to ask if the recent news about Germany had any influence or any drive in making any of that happen faster.
I haven't heard any members of Congress really speaking about that.
Do they even know?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
I think that Congress is kind of a weird place. They lean on international developments when it suits their purposes, and then ignore them when it doesn't. So I think that it's difficult to tell what sort of impact Germany's impending legalization is going to have. One thing that I have been telling people for years is that the U.S. is in danger of being left behind in the international cannabis market because of the continued intransigency of federal law and of Congress. And so if we're worried about all of the various factors that go into making the United States a continued top player in global markets, this is one area where we could pretty easily stop the slow ebb of the rest of the world passing us by.
Is there any shot of a federal cannabis agency being created, and its only concern would be the hemp world and the THC cannabis world? Is there any hope for that? And is it actually would add another layer of bureaucracy to this whole issue?
Well, there's been a lot of discussion about that, and I think that it's possible. I'm not necessarily sure that it's wise. There would still be a lot of other agencies that would have some interaction with cannabis and cannabis policy and cannabis regulation. And we know that there are already systems in place and agencies in place that have experience dealing with this sort of thing. Whatever aspect of the regulatory structure or control that you're talking about, and creating new agencies is incredibly difficult. I mean, it's hard enough to get the ones that exist to do their jobs right. Adding new ones is a whole other, jar of snakes. Not to mention, like, once you actually get it created, then you actually have to get it up and running and get it, make sure that it's effective. That can take years, and we don't really want to prolong the process that much. I think that what is probably most likely is that there might be a new department built off of an existing agency that is primarily concerned with the restorative justice components of any sort of descheduling and regulation bill. But I tend to think that it would be a lot easier and a lot quicker to just effectively define what roles existing agencies have in this process.
Yeah, and lastly, I just want to get your reaction to what was the reaction to President Biden saying that he was going to let out, 6,500 pardon 6,500 federally convicted possession or nonviolent cannabis criminals. And of course, the entire industry and everybody's writing articles about this doesn't affect anybody, right?
Well, I mean, the 6,500 people that are eligible for it would say otherwise.
Well, who are they? Because I have yet to hear anybody say, here's an example of someone who was pardoned. That's what I'm waiting to hear, because most people are saying this was window dressing. At least this is the scuttlebutt I got out of New York last week.
Well, Chris Goldstein, Normal's Northeast regional coordinator, is one of the people that would be directly impacted by that and is eligible for a pardon. Also, you have to think that these go back to 1992 and up until 5 years ago. So there are a lot of people that that this is going to impact. And, just because they're not activists and not, in the public limelight doesn't mean they don't exist, and doesn't mean that those charges haven't been hanging over their heads, negatively impacting their ability to live a normal life and reach their full potential.
No, but I think the argument though was that there's not a single person that's in there simply for possession. They have other things that they had with them. So intent to distribute, for example, isn't simply just a possession. So there's not a single person that's going to be affected by that law unless they expand it.
No, that's not the case. What you're talking about is incarceration. Now, there may or may not be anybody that's in federal prison for simple possession charges. I tend to think that there aren't, but the simple possession charges definitely do happen, and there's roughly 6,500 people that it will impact.
So just to clarify, because I think we're talking about two different things. One is the people that are still in prison, and one are the people that are out of prison. So you're saying the people that are out of prison can be affected, but no one in prison are going to. This is not going to help anybody.
Yeah, few, if any, people that are currently incarcerated will be directly impacted by this, other than to have that one charge pardoned. And also. The pardons actually only affect people who have been out of prison or out of supervised court release programs for at least 5 years up until the date of that announcement. So it doesn't really affect anybody that's in prison. But that is really kind of besides the point, because, admittedly, we do have to worry about the incarceration issue. But the collateral consequences of a cannabis conviction at the federal level are huge and go way beyond prison. We're talking about negatively impacting your ability to get education, employment, housing, medical care, everything from child custody issues to professional licensure. The collateral consequences of these criminal records are huge and can really just set people back for the rest of their lives in terms of limiting their potential to be productive and fully contributing members of society and live reach their full potential. So, when people say, "Oh, this isn't letting anybody out of jail," I say, "Yeah, well, we're going to get to that." But right now, there are 6,500 people who are going to have an easier time going through life and being the best that they can be after these announcements, and those are real people.
And one of those I'm pretty sure I heard this right. Was it Goldstein, the Northeast director of Normal?
Yeah, he's definitely a person that is eligible for the pardon. I should point out as well that a pardon is not an expungement. It doesn't actually clear your record. It just means that like you have been pardoned on this date. But even that, that affects things like voting rights.
Right. Yeah. No, I get it. And by the way, you're the one who explained the difference, so I appreciate that. Hey, Morgan Fox, first of all, I'd love an intro to that guy, since you guys are in the same sandbox, basically, of normal. I'd love to hear his story. I really would. I mean, you know me, I want to tell the stories of the industry, so tell him he's welcome anytime on our program here on a Friday afternoon, or even at a time that might be more convenient for him, because I really think the world needs to hear that there actually is someone out there who is positively affected by that announcement by the president. And look, even if it was window dressing, I lived to hear the day that the president of the United States recognized that the laws were not just for cannabis. And that was a huge win for the entire industry, and anybody and all the advocates who are out there waving the flag and have been waving that flag for decades. So I'm not knocking anything. I'm just happy we're actually able to talk about it and continue to talk about it. And we will continue to talk about it, Morgan Fox, with you on the third Friday of every month. And I so appreciate your regularity with us. And we will be back in just a few minutes. And it would be me and Josh. And watch, we're going to juggle for 30 minutes. You're going to love this. It's going to be fun. Don't go away. Green Rush Live continues after this.
As a broker, we have access to many, many cannabis carriers. So I will go in with 2 or 3 quotes for people. The quotes might be $20,000 for one, $22,000 for another, $17,500 for another. Pretty close among the 3. What I tell people is it's not the pricing, it's what's included and not included, meaning exclusions. An exclusion in layman's terms is just something that's not included. It's not on the menu. So it's just not included. But if you don't know that, if no one shows you that on page 71 of a 150-page policy, you're not going to know. No one knows. I never met one person that says they read an insurance policy. If you do, I got some property in Florida for you.
Talk and In the Weeds are 2 productions of Pro Cannabis Media supported by Revolutionary Clinics, one of the top medical cannabis dispensaries in the Massachusetts area, now with 3 locations in Greater Boston, 2 in Cambridge, and 1 on Broadway in Somerville. Rev Clinics has a patient-first mission. They will customize your needs as a medical patient with the proper titration and combination of strains, flavors, and products. Rev Clinics, where the patient comes first.
It's straight through all ads at the end of that. That's what's up, though. Appreciate them for making sure they throw theirs in there in case y'all make it to the end of the video. Shouts out to the end of the video squad, because that's where we be at on all of them. Because, I watch all the videos I'm watching, so. You dig? Shouts out to Melinda Elliott, getting into some hobbies. Appreciate that. She's a level 2 Buy Me a Coffee member. Y'all know to go check this out on Buy Me a Coffee. You dig?
This is my first layer of color. I need to maybe go back and fill in a few little spaces, but I'm supposed to start with the light color first and the skin first if I can. Well, really the lightest color on the page first, and the skin appears to be the lightest color on the page. And yep, this is my first layer. I'm going to go on to my second layer. So here is my second layer, starting to do some shadowing, and then I have a third, even darker layer around the edges. So right now, I put in my darker color, and I am using my lighter colors to do some blending and try and make it a little bit smoother. I just got a few more minutes to work, and then my break is over. Bye. From a distance, which is generally how you view a picture that you framed and put on your wall, the coloring doesn't look too bad. Closer up, it looks to me like I need to do more blending, but yeah, considering it's the first adult coloring I've done, at least it's a good start.
Wow, that's Snoop Dogg, the Godfather. I hit that blunt, I'm going to see the Father. Damn, Earth was
Damn, Earth was cool.
cool. Oh, this gas, 93 octane.
Hello,
God,
Lisa
take
Drake. Good to
me
see you.
now. Hey, cool it. He got another one sparked already. He being
Y'all know to go check out Lisa Drake. She got some great content over
You
there.
think I'm finna hit that blunt again?
Appreciate you for
Heavens,
stopping by.
no, I'm high, bucko. I'm puzzled. I'm finna give it right back to him and tell him I hit it 10 times already. I'm finna call 911 and report an attempted murder. He keep passing me blunts. He think we in a relay race. What a bummer. I'm finna put this out, and if he asks why, I'm gonna tell him I'm allergic to marijuana. Weed for me stand for with each exhale, I'm about to die. He gotta knock it off. I done already took 2 blunts. He done sparked a third one. Smoke monster. I'm finna play sleep. I'm comatose. Big fella, you took that blunt to the head. Now you finna be in the nearest hospital bed. This ain't the move. I'm finna scoot. He a different
Yeah, it's a little much smoking with Snoop because he just do be pulling out blunts. They say his average blunt count on a day is 84, which is high. 84 blunts in a day, that means for 18 hours a day, you smoking 6 blunts an hour. Yeah. 6 blunts an hour for 18 hours a day. I can see that being a good challenge coming up one of these days. If I get the right harvest, I'll do it. Which that'll be more than my Thanksgiving challenge I did, because I did 22 blunts that day, so 84 might be possible, but hell, I need some more people to pass blunts to. And have rolling. I have to show me Sasquatch. He did this artwork for the Chiefs. Y'all know I am from Kansas City. And he is from Missouri, so.
So let's get back to the topic. I've got the garlic in there. I'm gonna chop up this onion. I'm gonna put a little bit of water, and I'm gonna just let those saute down. Is sugar like crack? What do you all know about the studies? Have you seen any studies? Are you familiar with this, that sugar is addictive? And one of the main ways that we get it is in our ultra-processed foods. So anything that's processed or ultra-processed, for example, if you're eating a tomato,
Shout out to my
that's just a whole
sponsors.
food.
Y'all know to go check out the
If you turn
Superfood
that tomato
Parents.
into ketchup, if you turn
Y'all
that
know we
tomato
ain't
into
playing
any
about
sort of
them.
sauce, then it's processed. And it may be ultra-processed, like a ketchup would be ultra-processed, because you can't even recognize it anymore. If it's salsa, that would be processed because it has been changed but it's not ultra processed where there's been all these additives and all these different things happening with it. So we're just gonna rough chop our onion and put that in the pan. And remember, we're sauteing these all with a splash of water. Christiana, can you bring me the liquid aminos, please? Thank you. So liquid aminos, I'm going to use those as the salt here to season this up. And let's see what you all are saying in the chat. Rainbow is saying, dark vegetables and fruit come with extra stuff. Absolutely. The darker the berry, the sweeter the juice, right? But also the darker the berry, the sweeter the nutrients, like the darker the food. So Rainbow is saying dark vegetables and fruit come with extra stuff. So eat lots of colors in fruit and vegetables and eat from all over the world. It's ours to eat. Absolutely. So that's another good way to look at it. You know, when you think about it, you just have to say, okay, I'm going to eat the rainbow, as they say, but why are you eating the rainbow? Because the phytonutrients in the different foods are different. So you get vitamin A and carotene in carrots or in any orange vegetable, you'll find some of those same properties. So like butternut squash or pumpkin, those orange foods. Of course, the green foods you have, especially those leafy greens, right? Rambo, thank you. Rambo says, I love some okra. Absolutely. So I can't remember if okra has calcium in it. I can't remember the specific nutrients, but that's the nice thing. When you're eating the rainbow, you don't have to like count calories. You don't have to worry about, am I feeding my loved ones? Am I being a superfood parent? How am I feeding my, nope, you don't have to worry about it. You just know that you're already doing great when you actually are consuming whole foods. Let's say if you're a vegetarian, like David Hunt, he's a vegetarian, so he tries to eat a lot of whole foods. But if David and Michelle are over there eating processed and ultra processed foods, you can best believe that's where the sugar is hiding. The sugar is in the processing. It's sort of like a preservative. They know that it appeals to people's palate.
Yeah,
And
how
that
long of an
sugar
ad
in
did I
most
choose
things
for
is what makes
the
you come back
sponsor?
for more.
Yep,
So
there we
last
go.
night,
I'm like, man, is this Laquita show? Hold on now. What's going on, Crooked Peach? Good to see you. Hopefully you're doing good today. You know how we do, doing our Saturday reviews. Another day in paradise.
Are you ready to make your grow room smarter and more efficient? We're breaking down 3 gadgets that can transform your grow no matter your budget. But first, check this out. Let's give a quick shout out to this video's sponsor, AC Infinity. If you're an indoor grower and you're looking for the highest quality grow gear out there, you got to check out acinfinity.com.
Don't forget to use that Dude Grows code so you can get your 15% off. You know, he getting his affiliate marketing in. Appreciate that. You see what I'm saying? Look at him. So low, boy, look like an Asian. Hey, shout out to Jeezy.
Fans, grow controllers give you total control over your grow environment, so you can dial things in exactly how you want them and grow stress-free. Go check out all the grow gear at acinfinity.com and use coupon code DUDEGROWS for a great deal. That's acinfinity.com, coupon code DUDEGROWS. All right, let's get back to learning some grow. All right, let's do this. I love a grow room gadgetry, man. There's a lot of technology these days coming out to help us in the lighting, vision, grow room monitor, all kinds of good stuff. Gardening tools.
Hell yeah, man. Absolutely, bro. Do you say grow room monitor? I mean, I'll take that one as the first piece of equipment. Even if it's something as simple as one of these with the little remote that you get for $15. Man, having something where you know the temperature and humidity, what's going on in your grow is huge. From a guy whose air conditioner just froze up last week, man.
Yeah, I use grow room monitors more than anything as far as my go-to when I'm looking at my phone. And setting up a room, starting a room when you know you're going to have cold nights. When my room's in my garage, I need to know, like, I literally sometimes will wake up and be checking it just for, like, ooh, comfort.
Well, yeah, man, I had my air conditioner was freezing up, so I had some emergency exhaust going, emergency venting going, and I have one of these little, I think they cost like, I don't know, maybe $90, $100, but I got like a 6-pack of these little sensors, coffe brand, and hooks up to my phone, and I can kind of see what's going on in the clone room, in my drying tent, at canopy, at your ground level. So yeah, it's pretty cool, something like that. But I checked it at 6 in the morning a couple days ago.
Anything you're using today, I feel you should definitely have tied in with your phone for notifications, because you're not always at your grow, and it can save your grow. You're using kind of an overall temp humidity controller that can be applicable for any household situation. The Coffe, I think you said. I dig Pulse, man, because it's more designed for growers. And for example, within the Pulse app, you're going to get a VPD, an automatic VPD calculation and graph out so you can see, or alerts if you're outside of your VPD. You know, I geek out a little bit more since I'm going to get a monitor that's built by growers, for growers. The Pulse Zero, it just has more features for me that I'm going to be able to use. One of the biggest mistakes growers make is newbies, sometimes experienced people is light cycle interruptions. Lights coming on at the wrong time due to a power failure that you didn't know about, timer failure, a little tab going off. So the Pulse Zero has an onboard light, just notification meter to let you know after you plug in your light schedule exactly if there's an issue or not. It alerts you. Everybody, if you're using Coffe or whatever you are these days, use it with your smartphone. The smartphone is such a great ability to alert you of different things that can save you. Your humidifier tank's full, you forgot about that. There's just a lot of different things. But again, Pulse Zero is what I dig on because of the app is built for growers and it has tons of different features in there that the other monitors that aren't bad, but they're more meant for household situations instead of grower situation.
Yeah, I do like that it has VPD. I like that it has an alarm. I had to wake up at 6 in the morning and check. So yeah, it would be cool if I had something that went outside of set points that actually texted me. That would be cool, right? Sorry, I gotta go. My grow is out of sorts, all right? My humidity is out of range. I have to go.
You're right. You can geek out and follow. You can literally get alerts when you're off VPD. That is a dope feature. All right, let's take the lights.
Yes.
UVB has been trending and trendy in a good way, man. What do you got?
It's my UVB bar, man. UVB bar. What do you think?
I think it looks like it's LED. I'm going to recommend, I mean, if you're looking into UVB, the word on the street is the most efficient way, and you get the most UVB light for your buck, still through fluorescent tubes. UVB diodes, Grandma, we might want to show it, I believe. They last, but they burn out. I believe they're just burned too quick.
Yeah, it's a very violent wavelength as you go down. It is a shorter wavelength, and it is really hard on the electronics. So UVA is somewhat new.
Here you go.
In LED.
Shout out quickly. This is the great. These are like $70 US. Shout out to Migro. So what it does is it's not a big bar. It's not high wattage, so it's easy to implement into the grow. You're not going to, like, they're 19 watts each. You're not going to gain a huge amount of heat, but you're going to want to start off in short durations. And what people are talking about with UVB is getting, bringing on of stress and flowering that's giving you more terpenes, frost to your buds, or they've even gone as far as talking about pest prevention and mildew prevention, which I don't know, I think you're reaching on those elements.
No way, man. I said it was a violent wavelength when you're getting the microwaves and all these with the gamma rays, things that actually will destroy DNA. UVC, which is one step down, will destroy DNA. That's why you use them as clean lights. So trichomes are trying to defend the plant material by clouding up and putting more terpenes and cannabinoids in them, but they're trying to shield that plant material from being destroyed. I bet you it's not good on a bug, how it feels for a bug or a mildew spore.
The important thing to know with UVB, if you're going to implement it, do it slowly. We're going to grow at short intervals when the lights are on. MIGRO is a great source. They did a bunch of testing with growers as well and showed that UVB was very successful with some strains and making them frostier and more potent. Other strains didn't respond as much, so this is something you're really going to want to work with. It's not an absolute guarantee, but I am running some. I'm playing with it.
You didn't say strain dependent, dude.
Watch
It's my
all
favorite.
week,
I got one.
This one, go ahead.
Gotta
For
stay
number
putting in that
3,
work.
man, this is my old fogger right here. But a fogger, man, a fogger. You know what this is? You got one of these, dude?
That is like for a greenhouse, man. You don't have to care if you blow plants over in your tent or smaller grower with that bad boy.
Yeah, this one's awesome, man. Look. Oh, anybody want to buy a UV light, man?
Hey, quickly, fogging is... It's looked over because you want, your spray
throw
bottle
shit
just
out.
sprays out a certain size. When you really want to geek
Light,
out on it, you're thinking
throw
about
it
the
that way.
micron size that your foggers are spraying, and you
Fogger,
want a
throw
sprayer
it that
that's
way.
designed for horticulture use. Shout out to AC Infinity, has a cool sprayer now that's just USB rechargeable. That thing's dope. You just hold down a button and it puts out the right particle size so it won't beat up on your leaves. You won't get light burn. You won't get as much runoff. My go-to, if you're old school, the Fogmaster Junior Scotty. It hasn't changed its design in like 20 years, and it's still plug-in. But that has an adjustable micron size, and it has a fan in there, so it really shoots out and penetrates canopy and under canopy well. And I still give that thing a thumbs up.
I don't like that particle size in the display there, man. What's going on? What is it, like something like 5 microns is what fog is? And the idea is there's such a tiny particle size of water, and what's surrounding it is air.
Yeah, and one other point on this is your product goes a lot further. Whether your spray is some spray solutions are more expensive depending on what you're spraying, and it goes a lot further. And as far as versus any type of handheld spray bottle. So hopefully you are feeding your plants foliar or using some great IPM. Check out those 2 foggers. Don't go cheap. I've seen some people get the foggers from Amazon, whatever, but they don't have the right micron size for application. It's more for like spraying, something out into the field. I have no clue. Don't go cheap on them.
Yup, you're right, man. Get a true
check out
fogger.
popping seeds.
Tell us what gadgetry you guys like in your grows. Are you guys using any type of new tech? I like to get into filming my grow. I think a time lapse would be pretty cool. But leave some comments below. Let us know what you're up to.
If you like this video, hit the like button. Hit that subscribe button. Share this one with another grower you know. And check out the other couple videos YouTube's recommended.
It's definitely got to be up on top of your information. It's good people out there putting out some information, so definitely do you some personal reviews. And I'll show you mine, right? Get in there. Be an enhancement
Everybody in
smoker.
New York was calling to get down with Mr. Nice Guy. We met all kinds of customers, like this guy here. He's what we call an enhancement smoker, because he thinks that marijuana makes every activity that much better.
Casa su casa.
Absurd.
You're Scarface, right?
Yeah.
I love Al Pacino, man. Did you ever see Son of a Woman?
Yup.
You ever see Son of a Woman?
On weed. That's the way to see it, man. It's just whack.
$60, yo.
Cool, man. I got it. Did you ever see the back of a $20 bill, man?
No, I don't know, yo.
Did you ever see the back of a $20 bill? On weed? Oh, there's some weird shit in there, man. There's a dude sitting in the bushes, man. He's got a gun. I don't know, man. I don't know. What? Red team go. Red team go. It's just some weird shit, man.
Man, you fucking crazy, yo.
Oh, it's cool. Thanks, man. Hey, yo, wait. Dude, I'm gonna check out the stars later. It's really trippy. Especially on weed, man.
Let's discuss my payment. That time is past. No 5,000 for you. The price is 50. How about your payment is you get to leave? Not enough. Now you think you can negotiate with me? I say the word, my nephews go to a certain motel, pay a visit to your daughter-in-law and your little granddaughter. What do you think happens then? Consider your position carefully. I get my money, or neither of us walk out of here. You willing to die for this? Maybe I need the 50,000 more than you do.
Alright, that's the end of our videos for the day. So the only thing we got left to do, because you know your boy, I'm holding y'all up today. It's Saturday, y'all already know. I put the video, you might be down for a ride with your boy. Pause that, because I don't need no video disclaimers for that. I just remember what my thumbnail is. Y'all know how we do Wet Planties 2025. We keeping it popping. Shouts out to the Wet Planties. Yeah, definitely everything is definitely better with weed. So, speaking of weed, and our good homie Triple D Farms, he sent me some genetics. The Auto Army for 2025 is what we're working on. and I gotta go in here and get some more seeds picked out to germinate. So we gotta do round two of germination because the first round, nah, I already know I'm having a pH problem because it's middle of winter. So that's normally my issue. But then my reliable, handy dandy pH pen went out. So I ain't been getting exact pH measurements right. But then you gotta check every day too. So it's cold. Hell, you gotta put in that work. That's a good and bad thing about DWC. Because when you got to get in there and put in that work, you better be ready. Because, hey, sometimes you just got to sit back and see what's going on. But hell, it's been a couple of videos since I went in the green room anyways. So I ain't got to show y'all what's behind me. That's nothing but some dead bodies. Don't worry about the body squad. Yeah, watch out, precious. Don't get stepped on. Well, we know tent one's empty. But the good thing is we finna get all that worked out today, too. Alright, so welcome back to the green room. An hour into the video as an indoor garden consultant, and then I'm slacking on showing y'all the garden. But hell, we got some shit growing on in here. You know what I'm saying? Hey, for the real viewers of the video, you gotta wait for popcorn to get on topic, and then I'll get there. Shouts out to the plants grown in the green room. See, we got one doing this THING coming in nice. Look at it. Look at him. Look at him doing his thing. Yep, 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 yep. Got a couple buds over there. They're starting to level out at the bottom, so we're gonna cut some clones from there. And then, like I said, we will be dropping some seeds. Cause we gotta drop some seeds. Yeah, and then of course my flower that I have back in here, my flowering plant. Shouts out to that one. Gotta keep that deal in the background because it keeps some artwork in the room for me at all times. And then, of course, we got our money tree, our golden barrel cactus, and of course that snake plant snaking its way up in the back. That I don't know what this one's doing. It's just doing some bullshit. Here we got some strawberries in vertical tower, and then on the other side we got some dragon fruit that I started, which I gotta get individually potted so they can be braced up and ready to go. Because some of them are starting to get big, and since they starting to get big, they need to go ahead and be where they gonna be. Shouts out to them. I'll probably have these for sale because if I start them, they can be sold, right? Because they're more of a long-term project for people. But since it's already started, we can get those people that like to be hey, this is already going, so I could just finish this saved game. Shouts out to the cheat code. Yeah. We already got us a cheat code, so when we get into our outdoor season, because we're going to be doing some stuff, because it ain't just all homework. Part of the homework is being out in the field, so you dig? Do this outside of school. We just call it homework. We don't care where you get it done. Type of time. Then, of course, we still got a pineapple growing over there. It might be doing something. And then, like I said, we'll probably be filling up some spots in the cloner, one of the two. So, yeah, I might do a 6-pack off of this. It looks like I can get at least a good 6 clones without killing too much off the plant itself. So it's a good thing that's growing healthy and vigorously because it's finna go down through there, but then it'll have some more time to recover and grow taller again. And then in a couple weeks I'll be ready to throw that in flower. Give it some recovery time, let it get to growing back again, and then it'll find itself in a flower tent. Might be scrogged out because it might be super thick. Shout out to them super thick ones. I threw some water in here the other day because, with these strawberries, I tried to cut some of these runners, but they didn't do too well. They haven't died completely, but they ain't look like they running their new roots yet, but we'll see what happens. It's a good thing about strawberries is the plant itself, it starts throwing runners. You can cut them off and replant them as soon as possible. But I like to let them go ahead and start developing because I seen that, and then I'll try to wait for that part to grow roots. But we'll see what happens. We will see. Shouts out to the garden though, because we in the garden. What? Not bring that down? Did I? Anyways, I need my scissors. Alright, so now we back in the building. Put that right there so I ain't got to worry about it falling on me. We ain't got the phone stand on that ass. What up, Miss Naylor? How you doing? Hopefully it's a good day in paradise. Hell, you know, we in here putting in some work in that green room. H&R sending you emails because it's motherfucking tax time. They reminding you. Hopefully you're ready to file, Mr. Harper. I don't know. Hell, y'all took too long to pay me last year. I don't even know if I trust y'all with some money this year. Hell, I ain't talking about H&R. I'm talking about the tax people. The I, the R, and the S. They surprisingly want their money expeditiously. But then they want to play on paying you. Okay, I'm getting some fucking paper towel ready to do these seeds because, you know, we got to put this work in and get some more plants popping back in here. Because although that one over there is looking good, it's the only one in here that made it. So, you know, it's time to reset the green room. That way I'll have this TWP Auto Army harvest ready to go sooner rather than later because the first batch didn't quite make it. So, you know, we got to keep things growing on around here. And in the spirit of keeping things growing on, your boy in here putting in that work today. Shouts out to putting in that work. That's why we went ahead and got the videos out the way. Smoked one real quick. So now the more serious people in here working with me can get to work. You know, always do your networking. Make sure you click on everybody, go find you some new people to talk to. We got Lisa J in here. Y'all know she's great with what she does. So, hell. Easily promoting yourself right there. Networking 24/7. 24/7. That's what we do. You see, I got on my networking coat and some merch. Shouts out to the merch. Another Day in Paradise slap T-shirt. Hit the buy me a coffee for the link on that. You dig? Because we can get them to you. See, I'm already out of the BM crossed with 4K, and then the BM crossed with 4G. Let's see my auto genetic list. Shout out to the big homie. He sent you the list, and then he's got each one labeled, so you know which ones you're fucking with. So you dig? It's up to you to keep track. That's why I got them all labeled for the bag. So that's why I said the only thing we got to do is throw the napkin in there with it. Boom, some water. Bin. I might just use a little bit of hydrogen peroxide with the water to make it a sterile fucking germination. You dig? We gonna throw some garden tips in here today too. You see what I'm saying? We gonna go fill up the water here in a sec. And then throw a little hydrogen peroxide in there. And then swish it around. Boom, 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 boom. And then we're gonna needle and do all of that. We got the tools for our trade today. See? Shout out to being real indoor garden content. I don't just do review videos that I'm stealing people's content, as some people may think, which I can understand why you would think that way. Hell, you're used to being a hater. Haters think that way. I get shit done. It's a difference. Let's see. That one, that one, that one. that one, that one, that one, and that one. So that's all the pieces I needed. And then I'll still have a piece of napkin in here for the next round because I'm only trying to germinate 3 of each seed. Shouts out to the 3-piece. Shouts out to Kansas City because they trying to get them a 3-piece. All right, let me go get this water. I don't need that whole thing worth of water, but I do need to add some water back into the plants in here. So you see how I'm gonna just go ahead and keep it all together, do it all at one time. Like I said, hey, shout out to the indoor garden. Like, we're gonna throw some hydrogen peroxide in here. Not too much because you don't want to overdo it, but not too much. Yeah, I ain't just giving needle threads of that. I put some in there. So like I said, we want this to be a sterile germination, as they call it. Because the best thing about this part is you just put the seeds right in the paper towel. Put the paper towel right in there, and then apply the water, and you got it there. Looks like we got a lot of these seeds. Which one is this? This is the Bear Miller crossed with ZZ. So that's the Zos Skittles. Shout out to that one. Let's see. Where's this? Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Shout out to the big homie. Y'all know he laced us with them genetics. Shout out to the son of OMC Company, aka Triple B Farms. Y'all know to go check out the homie. Hell, you see he threw me some laced up genetics, and we gonna be keeping them popping. Shout out to the homie. Appreciate that. You dig? These right here are all my photo periods of the same genetics that he sent me autos of, because he knows I'm a photo guy. But he was like, "Nah, I want you to grow these autos for me," and I'm like, "You lucky you the homie, because I see what you did there. You're trying to trick me into growing autos, because you like autos, but I'm a photo guy." But since he sent them to me, he sent me both of them. So, appreciate that part of the game. Like, yeah, just go ahead and, run the autos for me. Which, last time, I was mad because these actually have a high germination rate. So, last time when I started 3 of the same genetics, all 3 of them had popped and were running, but they didn't make it all the way through because nothing made it. So, y'all seen the pot stay empty in here. And both tents, I said, were empty also. But hell, that happens along the road. So like I said, we're going to add 2 needles of water in here. It's got the napkin fully wet because we're going to want that wet for a couple days while we let these go ahead and go. So hopefully by Wednesday, when we come back and do a video that day, or Saturday next week when I do a definite update on it, y'all will see what's crack-a-lacking with that. Put this in this bucket because I'm going to take it out where it can be in the dark for some of the day versus stuck in here giving them light, because that's the thing you don't want them to have is light. So they'll be absorbing more water to grow to get towards light. You dig? And then since they're halfway within the paper towel, These seeds look small. What's this? This is the BBK. So that's the Blackberry Kush. Cross. Oh! Why is it making me remember I'm an old man sometimes? Sometimes. But hell, like I said, we're gonna put the 3-piece in there and let them do what they do. So this is the fun part, right? Gotta get it in there. Two needles. Yeah, nothing. Man, Bobby. Hopefully they all right. Yeah, they get it. Put that in the freaking bucket. Shout out to having extra buckets. I didn't even realize that I could use that bucket in that manner. But I'm sure enough utilizing tools around me. And it seems like I had almost everything in here ready for this. Was I setting myself up for this all week? Probably, because you know I'm a setup artist. Hell, we be doing that. We be doing the content's gonna be creating itself. That's why I was glad to see we had more than purple flowers this week. Shouts out to the garden tour. If you missed that part of the video, hell, I might swoop around for you. Because we in the green room today. Shouts out to the pineapple. Then we got the dragon fruit. Once again, then we got the strawberries. Then we got our flowering plant over there in the corner with our current plant stand. You know, right here we got the money tree. Shouts out to growing the money tree, snake plant, and our first of two cactuses. Because you know we got them cactuses in here in the building too. There's the only actual lady I've got running at the moment. All right, Crooked Peach, good to see you. And then we got our other cactus over here. You dig? I might do some germinating in that because that likes to grow things quickly for me. So you know how we do. We like to get things growing and going good. Hell, gotta keep you some plants in the green room because them tends to be ready to rotate after 2 months. But since we're doing autos, we trying to have us another harvest within here in the next 90 days, right? Right. It's like I said, that plant that I'm gonna cut clones off of today, it's gonna need some time to recover and get some more growth back on it. But that's exactly what it'll do. Cause you know we ain't putting too much problems at it, but we gonna make it work. No free rides in our house, right? Everybody works. Alright, 2 needles of water, and we have got the White Widow crossed with SH. Shouts out to that. And like I said, we're putting 3 of each genetic in there, so I ain't playing with them. I'm trying to get as many plants growing on, keep some coming. Let's see. Next, we got the SVR, which is the Sugar Black Rose. Oh, that sounds like it should be fucking fire. Shout out to the homie. He got some great genetics. Y'all know he be getting from everybody that he knows because he's been growing for a minute. Shout out to Oklahoma. Keep your smoke clean because you came from Smokelahoma. What's that weed aroma? I don't know. You better figure it out. Let's see. What up, Izzy? I already dropped your link earlier, but give me a minute. I'll drop it again. Y'all know to go check out Izzy. Especially if you need some work done that you actually want done. Yeah, I'm in the lab with a pen and a pad trying to get this damn label off. Shout out to my robe/lab coat, right? You know how we do. Shout out to getting work done at home, aka the Homework 2025 playlist. That's what we're doing. Alright, next we got the SK1. Shouts out to the Skunk 1. It should be fucking, all of these are fucking fire sounding genetics. Which, hell, that's why I like the big homie, because like I said, he sent me 11 different types of autos with the matching photo periods so once I find an auto I like, I'll have the photo to start mothers. Shout out to that, because, you know, coming up with our next venture, I already got a fire ass list of starter genetics to have as the mothering process. So, you know, we get this motherfucking cultivation authorization. Hell, that first 250 plants is going to be all out of that. I love how things come together. You know, put in hard work with a good plan, and next thing you know, you got everything just coming together for you. Like, damn, I already got the genetics back handled. I already got a lot of shit ready to go. Hell, I've already decided on the soil company I'm using. Because, you know, if I switch over to the 250 plants, I will be doing soil runs also. I'll have a DWC in there, but it'll primarily be about efficiency and quickness on that route. So I can step away from soil and have a well-tailored garden. But the DWCs is where you actually got to focus a little bit more for me. So, I mean, delegate, right? Spend the time doing what you know you need to do. Hell, I gotta do DWC at home. So at work I can do whatever. I'm gonna put 4 of the DG, which is double grape. Okay, we got some double grape in the building. Like I said, I'm just popping seeds. Last time we had a high germination out of the seeds we did pop, although after they had popped, some of them didn't make it. This is exactly why we're doing what we're doing right now. Alright, that's that. See, then when I do it this way, it doesn't actually take that long. Oh, we're only an hour and 24 minutes into the video. We only been in the green room for about 25 minutes. Shout out to getting that working quickly, right? And then I still have to cut clones, but that's not going to take long either. Shout out to this banana strawberries. That's the one I just got. My 3 pieces of these going. Everybody that's doing their numbers, that's like what, 11 different kinds of weed, 3 seeds of each. So that's 33. Shout out to the 33 that we was trying to get popped. Because then out of the autos, that still has me close to my plant limit. Close to it, right? For those that's paying attention, go ahead and notify my haters. Hey, they gotta have something to work on. Yeah, Lord know they shadow watching. Why do your replays stay so hot? Because, I mean, that's where the haters come back in. They sit back and run the tape back because the dude did that. They running the tape back because the guy did that, right? Did he? Yeah, he did that to us. Shout out to the Blue Amnesia. Oh, that sound like he got some of them designer names. Shout out to the designer names because those motherfuckers be fire. And like I said, these are all autos, so hopefully we have us a nice harvest within the next 90 days on those, right? Well, after they've germinated. I was smoking something that day. Hell, I do a lot of shit. I be dropping fucking shit. He was in the chat though, so it was good. All to the good. Cash apps. I was high and half-ass sleep though, so I think I shortly went to bed after that. And then these 2 bags are for the 2 that are out, I'm guessing. So therefore, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we only have 9 genetics with 3 of each. So that's 27. So yeah, 27 plants. Then I'll just keep this over here by me out there. Oh, add this water back to the strawberries because they apparently like to stay wet. All right. All right, Izzy. Thanks for stopping by. Like I said, we done got some more genetics from the big homie, son of OMC Company, aka Bear Miller, aka Triple B Farms, aka make sure you know all his aliases. Hell, learn who the plugs are, right? Then you can plug your plug, right? I mean, you can know DD that, however it sounds to y'all these days. I don't know. I'm not one of them kids. Hell, I just say whatever the fuck I'm talking about. But anyways, let's see. There's the wet strawberries. And another look around the green room. Like I said, the next thing we're finna do is cut some clones off of this one. So I can just tell you to come here. fell over. That's hilarious. Let's see. I'm gonna run the air stones. Where is the line at? There's the line right there. I guess it is over there by it, right? Something like that. Cool shit, cool shit. So let's see. And there we go, right? There's one. And we'll see if we can pull a whole 6-pack with the swiftness. I ain't got time to play around with y'all all day. You know. You know. Izzy out here making videos. We gotta be making videos too. You're already making a video though, Popcorn. There's 2. Got some leaves. So let that stay, let that stay. That out. Cut this right there. That's number 3. Four. Not like it. Might only need to pull the 5. Is anything higher than that? Yeah. It's gonna have some time to recover because I'm leaving spots where I see new tops will start pushing anyways. Leaving spots where new tops have already started to form. So, therefore, I'm good with getting 5 out of that. But I need to put some water in this damn cloner. Came back in and smoked. Best thing smoking young dro. Alright, so let me see where this water level is compared to the net cup. Looks to be underneath. Alright, so we should be good to go. Only thing I gotta do now is add some CalMag in here. And some CalMag back in here. Because it's gonna want more CalMag to heal since it's been traumatized. Still traumatized ass. Because the only thing we currently have been feeding it has been CalMag. But it was vigorously growing, so y'all see it was time to give it a haircut, make it rethink its life, do a little producing down low again, and hopefully it stays squatty and fills itself back out. Stay squatty, because you see it's not really that tall, but it was already starting to catch up on the sides, which is why we took the clones. And fat, vigorously growing ones from the side, right? Right. And in a couple of weeks when that one's recovered and back thick, super thick, as we like them. You dig? We like them super thick. Shout out to some super thick ladies. They say make sure you get you one. Did I say I was running air to this? Where would we at? So I don't see nothing to make that line go into one. Let's see, where's it at? Balls up later so I don't slip and fall down. Playing Final Destination today, baby. Not me. Nah, not me. Shout out to Son of Odom Seed Company, though. Y'all know the big homie bless your boy with some beans. We'll be getting those growing on. But y'all seen the update on the green room as far as what we got is genetics going on. And y'all could always engage more if you want more content, because you know that's what we do. We talk about what y'all want to see, and we put that into effect. And it is community building program. Make sure y'all doing y'all networking. Hell, that's why you got your wrenches. Make sure you come in and have some of your own links saved, some of your homies links. I don't care. You're supposed to be representing yourself and your brand. So hell, you know the people that you want to promote. Make sure you take them with you. Y'all have a nice day though. I ain't gonna hold y'all up.